The design is truly spectacular. We will get to that in a minute. First, we need to understand why this is happening. As we reviewed Juan's footage and dug deeper, we realized...
Bro, what kind of disgusting looking fries are those? What is going on?
That it's not just the packaging that makes French McDonald's special.
What's up, YouTube family? Average Larry back again with another video. Thank you for coming back and welcome if you're new here. Now, y'all know we don't like to waste too much time. We want to get right into the reactions, but real quick, I just want to say we're over 7,000 subscribers, y'all. This is crazy, man. I cannot do this without y'all. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. There's other ways to support if you want to check out the links in the description, but we ain't gonna waste too much time. We're gonna get right into this reaction. Now, this is called Why McDonald's is Better in Europe. And I don't know that they actually are, but let's find out. Let's check it out.
On November 19, 2022, Juan Baus tweeted this picture. Absolutely loving the design of this reusable packaging that's being introduced at McDonald's France. The reusable packaging went viral, like really viral. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, retweeted him and said something French. We saw all of this and had a lot of questions. How come McDonald's is introducing this type of packaging? Why in France? And why does it look so good?
Does it?
In the following months, we went down a rabbit hole and ended up modeling the entire dishware collection. As it turns out, sleek fry containers tell many stories. How the European Union is bringing conglomerates like McDonald's to their knees, not just in France, but all over the continent. How a country known for everything fancy developed a truly unique relationship with fast food and a completely different type of McDonald's, McDo.
McDonald's in France, you don't understand how popular it is.
And, of course, how good design can transform experiences.
It looks fake.
Have you ever been to a McDonald's in Paris?
No? Why?
Anyways, it all started with a simple message. Yo, Juan, would you be down? He was.
There is something there with the whole ad campaign around it, and I think people's reactions to it are quite good. But then also maybe like, the question is like, are people gonna steal this?
When Juan is not going viral and getting featured in Drew Gooden videos, he's a UX writer for some of the biggest brands out there. Oh, and Juan also lives in Paris. To get a better look at this weird new packaging, we needed a man on the ground. Juan was that man. The design is truly spectacular. We will get to that in a minute. First, we need to understand why this is happening. As we reviewed Juan's footage and dug deeper, we realized...
Bro, what kind of disgusting looking fries are those? What is going on?
That it's not just the packaging that makes French McDonald's special.
Chapter 1. The Rise of McDo.
Fast food in France do not seem like a good match. It's the country of fine dining, Michelin stars and long-lasting dinners in cozy bistros. When McDonald's came to the country in 1997, the French were skeptical.
70, 80 top chefs in the country took out a newspaper ad in the country's biggest newspaper saying that they thought it was preposterous that McDonald's was coming to France. And they were like, this is absolutely ridiculous. We need to stop this fast food thing.
But they could not help but indulge, like everybody else on the planet.
Ici, c'est plus complet, c'est plus sympa.
Nonetheless, the company remained controversial for decades. In 1992, it launched a poster campaign showing the French chef and absolute superstar Paul
The French accent's gotta be one of the coolest fucking accents in the world, man.
Bocuse secretly dreaming about a Big Mac while examining a pile of plump chickens. The chef sued right away for $2.7 million.
When I found out these were real Big Mac advertisements, I immediately contacted my lawyers and instructed them to seek damages. How can I be seen promoting this tasteless, boneless food in which everything is soft?
His lawyer added the ad would be
an intolerable insult to the Pope of world cuisine.
7 years later, it got much worse for the fast food chain. At the time, the World Trade Organization and the US were trying to force Europe to accept imports of hormone-induced beef. Europe resisted, and the US in turn imposed heavy duties on certain luxury products as a retaliatory measure. One of the items targeted was Roquefort cheese from France. French sheep farmers were angry, and they found a symbol of American global capitalism and trade doctrine like no other: McDonald's. So a French horde went and utterly wrecked a restaurant of the chain, which was currently under construction in the small French city Millau. The horde was led by the activist and sheep farmer José Bové, the Frenchest-looking man of all time. I mean, what even is this pipe? The McDonald's incident made Bové a national hero and leader
the most Frenchest-looking motherfucker ever
of the French anti-globalization movement. He published a best-selling book 2 years later, and in 2007 he ran for president. Later he went into European politics, all on the back of really hating McDonald's.
José Bové rose to global fame 15 years ago after he demolished a half-built McDonald's.
However, despite Bové's crusade...
That's crazy. You could destroy a McDonald's and become famous for that.
McDonald's could not be slayed. Off the bat, it had a competitive advantage over brasseries, bistros, and cafés. The restaurants were designated as takeout joints. This meant the value-add tax was just 5.5% versus the 19.6% at gastronomic restaurants.
Dang.
The food was cheap and the French economy was bad, like always. Another factor played a much bigger role.
Always.
McDonald's always has been good at inserting itself into the...
Hey, the narrator is throwing like low-key shots at France all throughout this.
the local culture of the country it operates in. But nowhere has it succeeded on such a scale as in France. The company realized that French customers were drastically different from American ones. Americans visited McDonald's more often, at any time of the day, frequently alone, opting for takeout 70% of the time. In contrast, the French came in groups, spent more money per visit, and significantly more time in the restaurants. 70% of them dropped in during regular lunch and dinner hours. French McDonald's was not treated like a takeout place by customers, but like any other bistro. As NPR puts it, sitting down to a meal is a cornerstone of French culture. So the chain adapted. In the US, its restaurants are designed to attract people from afar, the golden M glooming high, calling you to that sweet, sweet drive-in in a car. The interior is often a little uncomfortable, intended to minimize customer visiting time and maximize purchasing turnover. In France, the restaurants are often sleek, modern, and comfortable. You can find relatively cozy corners designated specifically for larger groups of people. Sometimes there's...
That just tells you that whoever is behind the marketing at McDonald's is very smart. They understand the customer. That's like, rule number one. If you're trying to sell anything, is understand
even
the customer.
Table service. On the outside, the golden M is often subdued on the facade. The architecture is regionally diverse. McDonald's in France almost doesn't feel like fast food. That is so apparent, even the dumbest show on the planet, Emily in Paris, noticed.
This is so chic. There's no grimace, no hamburglar.
What's a hamburglar?
Hamburglar.
Products are locally sourced, and there are unique offerings like the obvious McBaguette, but also a croque McDo. McDonald's does this everywhere, of course, but they do it very well in France. There's a funny little review of the world-famous Ladurée macarons in Paris on TripAdvisor. The reviewer concludes, the macarons taste the same as the ones sold at McDonald's across the road, except for 4 times as much as the price. You see, this person from London is not just angry, they are onto something. The macarons at McDonald's are indeed manufactured by the same company.
What is that?
Today, McDonald's is universally called McDo in France. It is a cultural institution and even has its own slogan.
Venez comme vous êtes. So like, come as you are.
It is considered to be one of the biggest and most
Come as
profitable
you are,
markets for McDonald's
that's a church
in the
slogan.
world.
That's what they say
So
about church.
McDo is special. But why would they come up with reusable dishware? It seems like quite the hassle. Well,
Yeah,
the root of
it
it all
does.
is the EU.
Chapter 2. The EU's War on Plastic.
Sometimes people don't realize how powerful the EU actually is. the European Union's executive body, the Commission, can issue directives. These directives are goals, which must be achieved by all member countries. But every country can decide on how to get there. Once translated into national law, the member states must notify the Commission, which in turn checks if it is A-OK. Then the directive needs to be enforced in every country. If a member fails, it may get fined. A particularly famous directive is Directive 2019/904 of the European Parliament and of the Council of 5 June 2019. Okay, whatever, nerds.
What?
Basically, it's a big EU move to reduce the impact of plastic on the environment. This includes the much ridiculed ban of plastic straws and balloon sticks. But in truth, it goes much further than plastic straws becoming paper ones. For example, the directive makes single-use plastic producers pay to clean up single-use trash. And finally, the important point, it forces member countries to find ways to reduce the consumption of single-use plastics, such as food containers and beverage cups. France is always exceedingly extra and top of the class in combating plastic. They've gone way above what was expected and banned new single-use plastic packaging from 2040. From early 2025, new plastic packaging has to be made of 100% recycled plastic. And since the beginning of 2023, single-use packaging is banned from French fast food restaurants. Which brings us to this.
McDo.
Chapter 3. Le dessin est incroyable.
When we first chatted with Juan, he shared our initial fascination with the French McDonald's reusable packaging.
If you look at the fries basket, like it looks sort of, you can immediately tell what it is, like a McDonald's fries basket. But it looks kind of modern. It looks kind of like, you know, apple-fied. Yeah, they kind of nailed it with the design.
Juan also filmed how you ultimately return the dishware. The process seems a lot more dignified than the usual dumping of 500 kilograms of trash into an oversized, nasty, overflowing eat-it-all bin. We went on to model the dishware based on his footage and promotional material, because why not? It's undeniably French. The design studio behind it is called Ilium. They picked a plastic called Trident for the various containers, which is similar to glass and ceramic in its hardness and transparency,
I would just be worried about,
and preserves the...
Not gonna lie, I would be worried about sanitation, like how well they clean this shit before I have to eat after somebody else, you know? I don't know.
Organoleptic qualities of the food. Vents, graining, striations have all been designed to address their functions in the best possible way. Greasy hands, neat, great grip. The development of this technology took over 2 years. And surprisingly, it gets stolen a lot. The reused dishware went viral with good right. But it's just one small part of a much more elegant whole. For a country where eating at the restaurant is the norm, it makes even more sense that the food is not needlessly overpacked anymore. However, it's unclear if relying on reusable plastic is actually more sustainable than switching to long-wearing glass or china. The French government promises to remain vigilant on this question. McDonald's has been doing very tiny steps towards improving their packaging for more than 30 years. Ironically, we made a video in German before knowing about all this, criticizing the chain for greenwashing their enormous trash footprint in Germany and pretend fixing the issue. Some EU directives and one chunky national law later, we get this.
It looks
to
cool
us,
though.
This is a story of how business, if set on the right track through legislation, can really leap forward. McDo really did turn around the French anti-plastic legislation to their benefit, simply through introducing a design so noteworthy, people talk about it. Like us.
I like it. I like the idea. It's pretty cool. Like I said, I'd probably be a little worried about sanitary, but you know, as long as they're making sure everything's clean, I don't really see a problem with it. I like to go over there and check it out, man. Like that menu, some of the stuff they showed us food at McDonald's look way different from some of the stuff we have here at McDonald's. So just to see the overall menu would probably be very interesting as well. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, you know that you are freaking awesome and I love you. I appreciate you. Hit that like button and, you know, come back again and we'll check something else out, man. But I appreciate you guys for making it this far. And as always, one love.